This is Auteur, and welcome to another vinyl recommendation. It's that time of year again, Halloween, and that means that Westside Gunn is dropping another Hitler project, Hitler Wears Hermes 10. This is a special one because, well, he said he had health scares last year, and he was saying that the last one, the side A and side B of Hitler 8, was going to be his last and the end of the series, but I think he just wanted to cap it off with 10, and he's been feeling a lot better. He took 6 months off this year and came back hard with Peace Fly God and then producing the Rome Streets project. Boldy James has been killing it. All of Griselda has completely taken over. Makami finally started just dumping album after album. All his albums are really good. I need to catch up on all of those, all the dollar menus. It's just been a really strong year for Griselda. And the Boldy Craven project was insanely good. That blew me away. I was completely wrong about Nicholas Craven saying that he wasn't experimental enough or his beats didn't hit hard enough, because his production for Boldy was crazy. And since then I've looked more into Craven, and he is an underrated producer. I was absolutely wrong. But this is about Westside Gunn. This is about Hitler Wears Hermes 10. Like I said, it's the final part. If you're confused about the use of the word Hitler, the go-to is just that he is using it to describe it as like a devil wears Prada, like the most evil thing he could think of. He was in front of Hermes, promoting this album, which is really funny. And yeah, it's not like how Kanye wanted to use Hitler, like kind of glorifying him. This is definitely in like a tongue-in-cheek, like, we're gonna do this because it's edgy and fly. Like, when Kanye wore the Confederate flag, it just hits different than when Westside Gunn wears the Confederate flag. It's like the difference between a savant and someone has like mental disorders like Kanye. No hate on Kanye. Hopefully he can get mental help. That whole situation's crazy. Shouldn't have even brought him up. But I would say Westside Gunn in recent time, after his health scares and after taking that 6 months off, really even before that, his attitude is just elevated, ascended. He has reached that like wise, like, he's solidified his place in hip-hop, and I feel like he's kind of calmed down and achieved this like new status in his life. He's the GOAT curator, but I would also say he's like one of the greatest rappers ever. He's now my favorite rapper, and I just made that video about Freddie Gibbs having the best discography in hip-hop. I've wanted to make that Freddie Gibbs video for a really long time, but honestly, I would say Westside Gunn does have the best discography in hip-hop. Just this Hitler series, 1 through 10, is incredible. This is a series I followed from the start. Like, Just Me and My Eagle is one of my favorite songs on the first one. That one is Fly. Hitler 2 was when he was coming in with that New York stuff. I think Hitler 3 is the one where he said he's the king of New York. Hitler 4 was good. Hitler 5, all the Hitler Wears Hermes albums are really good. But I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't know what I'm gonna title this video yet, but I think I'm gonna title it Album of the Year, because this album hit so hard. It just kept getting better until it reached this absolute climax, which is, I feel like, when Killer Mike started rapping, and then it just like was perfect. The album is flawless. It's at least the best Hitlers. My favorite so far was 8. Just because I really, really like this is when like Stove God and Rome Streets, just like my appreciation for them was at the highest. So to get an album with them heavy on it was incredible. I love all the conductor beats. Danny LaFleur was fire on this. And this is the one I actually met Westside Gunn and got him to sign it. Was when he came into Chicago, and that was super dope. I got to ask him a few questions. I think I already talked about that on a previous video. But I also have 9, and I'm going to get 10 when that comes in. But I think 10 is the best. 10 actually did show up the series and cap it off. Westside just is getting better. Peace Fly God felt like it was the extras from Michelle Records or whatever, but this feels like it's just a straight banger, and I'm glad he got it out by Halloween like how he planned. The intro has one of A.A. Rashid's best intros, and this is just, like, to say the least, it's his best intro. And he's pretty much, like, let this album elevate your mind, elevate your life. And the vocal loop that he's speaking over is fire. I just love the tone this sets. I mean, it was fire when they performed live. They had him come out and do the intro. That was amazing. Like, I love the vibe he sets. He's a really good speaker, and he just keeps you kind of, he gets you into that vibe of just like listening to what they're saying, which is crucial for a Griselda album because it's so bar heavy. You need to be paying attention. So if you can lock in with A.A. Rashid on the intro, you're in for a hell of a fucking ride. Fly God Jr. is the second song. This is named after his son, who produced it. He actually brought him on stage when I saw them in Chicago. He's kind of shy. And then Wyan Billy, his other son, actually rapped. But apparently Fly God Jr. makes beats. And this one, ironically enough, does give me Chicago vibes, probably because it has Doughboy on it. And the DJ Drama intro was really cool on it, just that he was finally talking about Griselda, because Griselda have the mixtape genre locked down right now. If you take Griselda out of the equation, the mixtape game right now is not strong, because if you take Griselda out, you're losing Boldy, you're losing Rome Streets, you're losing Stove God Cooks, you're losing Mac Hami. I mean, just taking Mac Hami out, the mixtape game right now is way weaker. So the fact that they had DJ Drama on here is kind of cool, because he's always been like the mixtape DJ. And it's funny because Drama sampled Conductor, the track Michael Flynn for Sir Baudelaire on the Tyler album that won the Grammy. So it was Conductor and Westside Gunn that actually inspired, I think, both Tyler and Joey Badass to come out of retirement. I can't speak on Joey, but that Pray for Paris song was like the first time Joey came back after like all the stuff happened with Captain Steez. And that was the first time Tyler came back after Igor. And then Call Me If You Get Lost was way more of a rap album than Igor was. And I love the outro of the Fly God Jr. track. The beat is dope. It just has like this Eazy-E vibe. It's like real like reminiscent of like original hip hop. And Westside just comes in with this super bouncy flow. Like, it's dope. And to Super Kick Party, the third track, interesting vocal loop. The album has the trademarked grime throughout. And it doesn't even seem like they're adding like a grime filter or like, they don't even need to run it through a tape machine to have this sound. Whatever like they're doing to they're like sampling dirty records or something. That's honestly what it sounds like. Like me, I'm OCD. Like, I put my records through a record cleaner. I buy all new records if I can. When I crate dig, I check every little groove. So I can say it's funny that Griselda does just like, it's like they're just using dirty records to make this album, which is always a dope vibe and a dope, just a dope concept. And this is where Westside said the first bar that really got me. And like these notes I'm looking down at, these are just little random ass notes. It's more of a crutch that I look down here instead of looking at the camera. So don't think I got like a script. These are just some chicken scratched notes. But one of the lyrics that I did write down was, anybody that says they ill, I surpass thee. Dope ass line. He's just talking some Firefly shit on this song. With his trademarked form, he wastes no words. It's almost like he believes in stripping the lyrics down to the bare minimum. Like he'll write the verse or think up the verse and then take out as many words as he possibly can. It always feels like he's stripping down the lyrics. Or that if that's just his style, he is a genius for this delivery, because he does not waste words. And he's always so lyrical. Shootouts in Soho is the fourth track. This is a reference to A$AP Rocky. Fire, Pray for Haiti sounding beat. I love the chords. The sound is like a pump organ. The drums are always so fire. Denny LaFleur is always fire on production. And A$AP Rocky was great on this. He was recently on Cheat Codes too, so it's cool to see he's doing kind of an underground run. I like that West on this track says, love with no strings, please. And when Stove God came in and said, I can't answer the phone, I'm cooking dope. That's a cool ass line. Good hook. One thing that stood out to me that I didn't like about this song, and probably the only thing I didn't like about this entire album, I only have one critique. The mixing on A$AP Rocky's voice was not the best, and I think the reason for that is they recorded him in like a room. Like, I don't think they had him in a studio, and that's fine. And it's really not that distracting. It's just something I've noticed, but that's crazy when, like, the only flaw I can pick out of a 50-minute album is that I don't like the way one person was mixed because I know his voice could have been clearer. That's a crazy, like, obscure nitpick and just a testament to how perfect this album really fucking is. And to Peppas, for some reason I didn't think of this like peppers. I thought of it like lemon peppa steppas. My girlfriend is just always watching TikTok. It's starting to leak into my mind. But it's dope to see Black Star on a Griselda track. I really enjoyed that. But I do think Wes had the best verse on this one, though. I do think he out-rapped Talib and Mos Def. Or Yasin Bey, they call him now. I'm sorry for misnaming you, bro. And to Nico Louise, I think this is a store that he featured on his Instagram. I might be mistaken, but that's what I think it's a reference to. Westside Pootie spots have become one of my favorite parts of these albums, and I love the 80s sounding beats, and I love how much West is rapping on this one. I think he's one of the best rappers in the world, so I love that he's given us so many verses. And to the 7th track, BDP. I haven't even tried to figure out what that's an acronym for. I'm literally just... This is like my first impression. I listened to the album last night at midnight, and I listened to it once today, and this is right after I got off work. So I'm like reviewing this and then dropping the review. This is really only listening to it twice. This is like a first impression review. I only took notes once. I will admit there was one song that I repeated like a dozen times, though, and we're getting to that. But BPD, the beat is fire. It sounds familiar, like I've heard this loop before, maybe on a Conductor beat tape or something. Roman Stove always deliver together. I mean, just, they're two of the best. Like, when they were rapping live, West was rapping his shit, and then he had Stove and Rome come in as his little sidekicks. And then when Conway came out, he had 7X the Genius and Jay Skis, and that was dope. And when Benny came out, he had Rick Hyde and 38 Spesh as his sidekick, so that was dope. So those are kind of the three units. But out of those three units, I think West is the strongest with Rome Streets and Stove God Cooks. That's the strongest set within Griselda. But into the 8th track, and this is where it gets really special, Science Class. The vocal sample for this beat is dope. I feel the beat hard. They even credited the vocalist. I love the concept. I personally have lost a lot of friends, not just to death and shootings and murder, but also to just people that felt like because I was surrounded by all of these things, they needed to separate from me, that I was toxic. So I've lost literally my best friend because he felt like I was too dangerous of a person, so this kind of hits home. Loyalty should be a blessing, never a burden. I really liked that line. And the features always deliver on a Westside Gunn project. Like, I've never heard a bad feature. If you don't bring the heat, like, I don't even think they're going to call Rick Ross for any of these because he can't deliver anymore. Like, you need people like Busta, and Busta Rhymes was fire. Into the 9th track, God is Love. Este Knack is growing on me. I think he was better on this project than he was on Peace Fly God, so cool. I think it's good that they limited him to just one feature this time because it was a little too much on the last one. Into Switches on Everything. I knew it was coming because he had said that he was going to make a song with Run the Jewels, and he had said he had LP on a track. And he had talked all this shit. So I was like, that was literally like something I was looking forward to in my life. Like, I was like, I can get through this shift because this Run the Jewels Westside Gunn song is coming. It's on the way. Eventually we're going to get it. I don't know if it was going to be on Michelle Records, on Peace Fly God, or on this project. But we got it on this project, and it could not have come sooner or at a better time. This is a timeless track. Like, I knew it was coming, and my brain still short-circuited when LP started rapping. Like, I had to start that verse over, and then I didn't even get to the hook until like 4 or 5 listens because I had to just keep listening to LP's verse. And they have that signature, like, strong, like, cutout at the beginning that reminded me of like old school LP, like Fantastic Damage LP. like company flow. Like I feel like that's the LP we got. We didn't even get the Run the Jewels LP. We got the LP that inspired Westside Gunn to start rapping in the 90s. Like, we got the original. And everything he said was fire. Like, look behind the steel beams, a reference to 9/11. Like, I told him I'd do drugs and listen to Griselda with the crew. Like, just, it was funny that he's like, yeah, I'll rap with you, homie. Like, I do drugs and listen to this shit with my friends. And he also said, I don't need no flowers, I'm laying down these wreaths. And I think he really did bless Westside Gunn with this verse. Because him and Killer Mike, like, really, really delivered, like... I mean, LP came in and introed the track, so it's like, already it's legendary. Then Westside Gunn came in with the hook, I want switches on everything. Like, oh my god, it was so perfect. Once I saw the song was called Switches on Everything, I already knew I was going to like it. And then it was literally like the Run the Jewels feature, which just blew my mind. That Westside Gunn hook hit so hard. And then Killer Mike starts rapping, and Killer Mike left earth on this. His flow was so tight. When he said Piccolo 3 times, I literally had an out-of-body experience. Like, this song gave me so much emotion just washing over me. It kept getting better, because it had the LP verse, which was like already like the best moment on the album. Then it had that Westside Gunn hook, which then became the best moment of the album. And then it had Killer Mike come in and deliver like his best verse of his whole fucking career. And then that became like the climax of the whole fucking album. And it just blew my mind. And then the song continued. And then Stove God did the outro. So it was like, damn. Like, that is a perfect song. Best hip-hop song this whole fucking year. It's one of the best Run the Jewels songs. It's Westside Gunn's best fucking hook. It's fucking Killer Mike's best verse in his whole career. And okay, I got so excited talking about that song, my camera died. So yeah, that was Switches on Everything. Track of the decade, man. Track of the 2020s, man. Mark my words. Into track 11, Mac Don't Stop. I'd say Switches on Everything was the peak, and this is the soft letdown. Like, this was a great song. Flawless, good concept, good flow. I love the beat. I mean, something had to follow Switches on Everything, and this keeps it entertaining and keeps me listening. Love this song. And to the ending song, a long 10-minute long little grouping, Red Death. This breathes really well. This is the Alchemist produced track. And we didn't get any Conway on this album, and this is where it really hit me. We just got Benny, and he is missed. But I love this outro. It just gives me the vibe that they are finally breaking apart. We always got a Conway, Benny, and Griselda track, or Conway, Benny, and Westside track. So no Conway, but let me know down in the comments if there was a major Westside release before this that didn't feature the 3. Maybe I didn't notice it on Peace Fly God, but yeah, that was a little surprising. At least on the Hitler series, I thought they always included all 3. Obviously, neither were on the first one because Conway was in the hospital recovering from being shot, and Benny was off, allegedly too involved in his gang activity to even participate with Westside Gunn. And back then, Benny kind of just wanted to work with Shay. He didn't look at his relative as a producer at that point because Westside was just starting, and no one took him serious until he proved that he is one of the greats. So, love this album. It's album of the year in my opinion. Absolutely cannot recommend it enough. Go listen to Switches on Everything. Play it 1,000 times. I know I will. I am not exaggerating this album. Just the A.A. Rashid intro really lets you know, just absorb this, and I fully absorbed this album, and it's going to be on replay. I'm going to play it in my car a lot. This is a timeless album, and it just gives the most immaculate baller vibes of any Griselda project, any rap album. People who say hip-hop isn't fire right now must not be listening to Westside Gunn, because this shit is crazy. Oh, before I cut this out, At Large Auteur just dropped my new album featuring a full psychedelic visuals. I have Conductor Williams feature on it. the same dude who produced these songs. I included my snippet interview with Westside Gunn when I did meet him in the pop-up. It's inspired by Griselda. Westside Gunn is probably my biggest inspiration, but it's more like some glitch hop, like Jay Dilla vibe, instead of the grimy Buffalo vibe. But definitely go check out my album LSD TV. The Westside Gunn inspired track is NPC Magician.